Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akile Kulu, and today I will be presenting about diversity, equity, and inclusion and how they are incorporated into talent management, specifically recruitment, selection, and compensation management. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, often referred to as DEI, are principles aimed at promoting fair treatment and full participation of all individuals, particularly those from historically underrepresented groups. I will start by explaining what diversity, equity, and inclusion mean. Diversity means recognizing and valuing differences among people, including race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and abilities. Equity refers to ensuring fair access, opportunities, and advancement for all individuals, while inclusion means creating environments where any individuals or groups can feel welcomed, respected, supported, and valued. I will then move on to explain how diversity, equity, and inclusion are intersected. Diversity, equity, and inclusion cannot exist without the other. The context of DEI intersectionality acknowledges that people reside at an intersection of several identification categories, each of which affects their experiences of privilege and discrimination, rather than belonging to a single category, such as gender, ethnicity, or class, and sometimes sexuality. By using an intersectional lens in DEI, we must acknowledge how identities interact to influence real world outcomes rather than considering each identity separately. We will now move on to incorporating DEI into recruitment. The first step in an organization's commitment to diversity and inclusion is recruitment, creating a large, diversified pool of candidates and guaranteeing fair access to job opportunities are the objectives. Key approaches that can be used in order to incorporate DEI into recruitment are inclusive job design and advertising, diverse sourcing channels, employer branding and communication, bias-free screening. We will then move on to incorporating DEI into selection. The selection procedure must guarantee that each applicant is assessed consistently and fairly on the basis of merit rather than personal or prejudiced opinions. Here are the key approaches that can be used in order to incorporate DEI into selection: structured and standardized interviews, competency-based assessments, bias awareness, and training. Incorporating DEI into compensation management. Compensation management is a key mechanism through which equity can be demonstrated and sustained within the organization. Pay practices are the transparent and equitable, reinforce fairness and inclusion. Here are the key approaches that can be used in order to incorporate DEI into compensation: pay equity analysis, transparent pay structure, inclusive benefits and rewards, linking DEI to performance rewards, e.g., bonuses and overtime. We will then move on to the project lifecycle overview. The project's lifecycle is the structured sequence of phases that a project goes through from its initiation to its closure. It offers a methodical framework for efficiently organizing, carrying out, and overseeing the project. Initiation, planning, execution, and closure are usually its primary stages. The initiation phase. The initiation phase contains the project purpose, the project scope, and the stakeholders. The project purpose: this project seeks to bring the organization's HR, procedures, into line with the larger sustainability agenda, emphasizing social justice, inclusive growth, and long-term employee well-being. And the project scope is that it outlines the parameters, key deliverables, and areas of attention required to integrate DEI into the workplace. The stakeholders are the HR department, senior management, diversity officers, line management, and external DEI consultants. The planning phase. In this phase, the company establishes specific goals and plans for incorporating DEI into the long-term HR procedures. It entails creating through action plans for fair performance management systems, equitable training opportunities, and inclusive hiring. Under the planning phase, we have the communications plan, which refers to a strategy that is intended to guarantee inclusive, transparent, and consistent information exchange among all the parties involved in planning for the project. The execution phase. The execution phase. The company will implement inclusive hiring and performance management procedures, update the HR guidelines, and conduct DEI training sessions during this phase. We also have policy review and development. This is where the company will be checking their policies, reviewing them, and then auditing them in order to fit into the DEI's standard. And then we have inclusive recruitment, selection, and compensation, where the organization will now be practicing inclusive selection, recruitment, and compensation by allowing everyone, regardless of their background, experiences, or their differences, to come into their workplace freely. And then finally, we have the closure phase. Under the closure phase, we have monitoring and controlling and final evaluation. And under monitoring and controlling, we are talking about developing equitable and inclusive systems that acknowledge employee contributions and foster professional development. Under final evaluation is where the HRM sustainability project's overall effectiveness and impact on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion within the organization are evaluated during the final phase.